Hi, this is Rick from Rossi Music Academy, and I'm here with my new student, Manuela, who's doing a great job. She's only had 4 lessons, but she's really learned quickly, and we've done these videos so that we can help you learn how to play the saxophone easier. So today, we would like to learn how to finger the saxophone, the holding position, and to play our first notes. So that's kind of exciting. So remember to put your neck strap on, get it positioned so that when you bring the mouthpiece to your mouth, it goes right to your lip. And yeah, so if you have to adjust it up or down, don't ever put your head down like this or up too far, because what happens is it will really affect your air and not give you the best sound. So we've got that adjusted, looks pretty good, and we got to make sure that it's not tilted. Like I see it just slightly, her head's tilted towards the left. She looks kind of like this when she's playing. So you just bring the mouthpiece to meet where your head is straight up and down, because you just want to be as comfortable as possible. All right?
Yeah.
All right, good. So the next thing is, how do we actually hold the saxophone? Well, let's look at the back, and you can see that I have like a gold-plated thumb rest. This is a little plate there. She's got this little black one. Same thing. It's called a thumb rest. You just rest your thumb when you're not playing this other key, which is the octave key. We'll get to that later. The other thing that holds the saxophone is this little hook here. It's called a thumb rest as well. And you kind of hold the saxophone. I actually push out with that. Right? Mm-hmm. So now you've got a pretty secure little thing between your mouth and your 2 thumbs. You can kind of hold the saxophone if you push it out, right? Mm-hmm. That's great. So now let's learn how to where to put our fingers first. Okay, so first thing is, notice on my instrument I have a little, these are all ivories, and that's basically where your fingers are going to go. So you want to skip this first one. I have a little mechanism on mine, but you can see on Manuela's, it's just a little ivory, okay? And then you skip that one, and here's your first finger. Then you see that this key here is called the bis key. It's for B flat, and you skip that key. It's a tiny, kind of the small key, and you go to the key just under that, and then the last one is kind of obvious. All right, so that's how we do that. And then in our right hand, it's pretty obvious. Just touch the 3 ivories, and we got it. Right. So there's our fingering. Now we're without touching any of the actual notes, we're going to just review what we learned about getting a sound, right? So remember, the embouchure is the lip just nice and relaxed, kind of not too far out like you're doing this, definitely not too far in, because that really stifles the reed. So you want it to be just so that you're kind of, and you create a little platform for the reed. And your teeth, remember, are on the top of the mouthpiece, maybe just about maybe a ½ inch from the tip. Okay, so let's see if we can remember and get that sound. Remember, the first thing I told you was get the air first. We've got a wind instrument. That's what makes it work. So let's do that. Got to hear that rush of air in there, or else you're not going to get a sound. Okay, that's pretty good. Now don't puff your cheeks at all while you're playing. Try to keep your cheeks in. You want to blow the air as if you're blowing through a straw. A nice fast bullet of air. Good. That sounds pretty good. It's ready to play now. You can hear that it just wants to go. So let's just this time speed up that air a little bit more. Start slow, but speed it up. And let's see if we can get that first sound. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, it has a little bit of a loggy kind of sound to it because there's not enough speed in the air yet. So what I want you to do is, when you're blowing that air, imagine that you're blowing through like a 12-foot garden hose, and you're trying to reach the other end of that garden hose. That will give you more speed. Try that. That's better. You hear that a little more body, and you know, it'll get better as we start developing the lips and talk a little bit more about the airstream. But now let's go for our first note. So remember where you put your fingers. You're skipping the first one, there, skip the little one, and third. Okay, good. So let's pick up our, only push the first one down, that's a B. Let's listen what that sounds like. Again, start with the air first. Remember, the air is important. Say that again.
It's a concert D, right?
Right, concert D, but all they need to know is it's a B for them.
Okay.
Very good. All right, that's not a bad sound. So now we're going to add the second finger. And notice, I want to explain something else. The saxophone is a long tube. The way we get the lower sounds is we fill the tube up. So if we were to put fingers down here, watch. It doesn't really affect the sound much at all. Only by lengthening this tube. When I press my finger here, it's this long. When I add the next finger, it's that long. When I add the next finger, it's that long. So as we eventually we will fill up the whole tube, right? So we're working our way down. The second note is A. We need both fingers down for A. Let's hear you play. Very good. All right, and the next note, G. Try that. Very good. All right, adding the next note on the right hand. Remember to keep the top hand down too. Good. Next note is an E. And the last note we're going to learn today is D. Good job. So that was great. And what I recommend is just play some long tones on these. You know, just to get used to holding the note and keeping it a nice, even sound, and keeping that air going. Remember, every time, especially when you have any kind of problems, go back to hearing that air go through. Because if you're hearing this, there's no air, right? Listen to the sound when you hear when that much air is going through. See? See, so much. So it takes a lot of air in order to get that big sound that we all want.
Yeah.
And so in the next lesson, we're going to learn how to develop that sound a little bit more.
Okay.
Thanks.